got some problems that you wanna solve? Then let's chat. That job getting on your nerves? Then let's chat. Girl, you know I can relate, so let's chat. Cause I'ma tell you what the bottom line is.
I'ma tell you what the bottom line is. I'ma tell you what the bottom line is. I'ma tell you what the bottom line is. What the bottom line is. What the bottom line is.
I'ma tell you what the bottom line is. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Bottom Line Is. It's your girl Cece, the hostess with the mostest, and per usual, I have another amazing guest with me, and I am so happy to have her. Andrea, she is here. She is the founder and CEO of the Jollof Bowl and in Baltimore, Maryland. So of course, if you haven't gone there, make sure that you have it, because I just had a taste of the food at this networking event we were at. And and people know that I'm picky, so if I'm saying it's good, you know it's
yeah, that's good.
So, and I'm trying to remember, we met, how did we meet? We just met
at the Women Who Exhale event.
Yes.
Right, was it Young
Time
Queens
is
in
rolling.
Training?
Time is rolling. So, yes, like she said, we met at this this Young Women's in Training, Young Queens in Training, and When Women Exhale. And so when I heard her story, I said, I have to have her on. The bottom line is, you know, I'm putting everybody on there. You know what I'm saying? I make sure I give y'all the creme de la creme of folks on here. So I am so excited that she accepted the call and came out, and you know, we made it. We're making it happen for y'all. So it's going to be an amazing episode. So stay tuned. So today's episode is Stop Entertaining What You Have Outgrown. So just let that, just like all my titles, let that marinate, okay? Because that can go a couple of different ways. All right. So if you haven't done so already, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. What you're thinking when we say those words. And so I'm going to let Andrea go ahead and give you a little backstory of who she is, what she does.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I'm super excited to be, on an episode. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
But by way of introduction, my name is Andrea Kamara Okatunji. I am, as you mentioned, the founder and CEO of the Jollof Bowl, which is a fast casual West African bowl concept. So people have dubbed us the West African Chipotle, where you kind of build your own bowl using West African flavors. And our goal is to just kind of introduce West African culture, our heritage to the masses, right? Right now, at least Baltimore has, a taste, but we're looking to become a national brand very soon.
That's awesome.
And so we're building, a franchise model, so that Jollof Bowl can start to expand, throughout the nation, and eventually the world. Prior to Jollof Bowl, I've been a serial entrepreneur since I was 18, maybe.
That's awesome.
And so I've done everything from events management. I have started 2 tech startups. I sold one. I'm still the co-founder of another one actively. I've worked in politics. I've worked in agriculture, in the NGO space in West Africa. And so that's honestly where my food passion came from. I always, I love food, but I always, when I traveled for work, would, pick up little recipes here and there, because I'm always asking, like, well, how you make this? Because I need to replicate this. And I just picked up, little things from throughout my travels, and that kind of just, morphed into, my businesses. Jollof Bowl is actually my 4th restaurant concept.
Wow.
So I've had 3 prior concepts. During COVID, I sold 2, shut down 1, and Jollof Bowl is like my newest baby. So
that's awesome. And how long has Jollof Bowl been in?
We are not even a year old. We are.
I would have thought, the way that I've been hearing you talk about it, I thought.
Girl, listen, we are barely a year old. July 4th makes us 1 year.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that, because a lot of restaurants, especially during this time, have not been able to see that. So that is awesome, especially that in this year, you're talking about franchising. Like, how many people can say that? And, my ex was in the restaurant industry, and I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
All day and night, the prep. It's not just, I'm just sitting at the register making the food when you come in. No, it's a lot of hard work that comes into it. And food, child. Yeah. So
it's not easy.
I applaud you.
It's not easy at all.
And you are a mother as well. You're the oldest child. So you wear all of these hats. I thought I wore a lot of hats, y'all. Now, but look, as I'm sitting here listening to all this stuff for the first time, and I said, look, my mouth was, I was trying to be still as Cece the Diva, but I was like, Cece the Diva was like,
no, yeah.
Like, oh my God, that is, child, let's get into it. Cause she gonna have a lot to tell y'all tonight. Let me tell you.
For sure.
So outside of these business titles, as we mentioned, you are a mom, you're the oldest child. Do you wear any other titles?
I mean, outside of my business titles, of course. As you mentioned, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. As the oldest child, I'm West African, right? So my parents are from Liberia. My husband is from Nigeria. I lived grew up in Africa, I can't say grew up. My older years rather, I spent in West Africa from about 19 to about, COVID 2020. I ain't gonna tell you my age, but over 12 years.
You look good.
So I, as the eldest daughter, I am everybody's mentor. I'm everyone's financial person or bookkeeper. Like when my mom wants to save money, she gives it to me to hold because she knows I'm the responsible one. What else? I am, the researcher. My parents don't do anything on the internet unless they call me. I wear a lot of hats, for a lot of different people in my family. And, the pressure it's immense, but I really feel like, God's called me to be who I am in my family and who I am for my community. And I do the best I can, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can do. I'm the oldest child too, and I can definitely empathize with the pressures that come with it. And most people just don't realize, like they talk about, the baby and all this. But when you're the oldest child, you're like that second parent. And people just don't realize it. And I don't think my mom likes when I say that, because she's like, well, no, I'm the mom. But I'm like, if they didn't want to come to you, I was the one that was hands-on doing things with them. So, but that's fine. You can have that. I don't mind. As always, I'm being in the background playing the role. Yep. It's all good.
Yeah.
And so, but do you think that being the eldest child shaped your personality?
100%. 100%. I think that because I am the eldest child, I see the dynamic actually play out because my husband is actually the baby of his family. And he just can't fathom why I am the way that I am because he didn't have that responsibility growing up, right? So for me, like, I'm always, running to, everyone's rescue, or, I plan for everything and I plan for everyone. And that doesn't give me a lot of time to kind of focus on like my achievements and things that I've done. I can't sit in it because I'm like, I got a plan. I got to keep going, And so my husband is, I won't say he's aloof, but he's just kind of like living life. Like, he's doing whatever he got to do for him. Right. And I'm just like, I can't function that way because I've always been taught to take care of everyone else, to make sure everyone is okay, to make sure that, there's a plan for tomorrow. And that kind of leaves me being, I wouldn't say I'm controlling, but like, I definitely need to have a certain sense of order.
Yeah.
And that, shapes my personality because I'm very much goal driven. I'm very ambitious. I'm always writing something down. There's always a plan. I got all these little notebooks everywhere.
Yeah, you gotta have that plan A through C.
Yep.
And some people think it's like, like you said, being a control freak, but no, you just have to be able to be aware of what is going on
at all times.
And then just like, even being an owner of a restaurant, if something happens, you got to be able to say, okay, well, if this happens, this is what you do. If this happens, okay, then call me. You have to, it's like you never can truly step away.
Yeah.
From it all, which is hard, on your mental and emotional, because like, I know for me, I said last week, I need to take Thursday off mentally. Like I'm going to still scroll on TikTok. Okay. But outside of that, I'm like, I don't want to answer anything. I don't want my mind to like have to work.
Yeah.
And that's so hard to do because I still didn't do it 100% of the day,
you
right?
Can't.
It's just so hard, but at least I had a couple of hours. I could say that I did it. It was very proud of myself.
Yeah.
Make sure you take that mental break.
No, very important. Very important.
And so let me ask you this. Were you ever praised more for being the dependable one?
When I tell you that is probably one of my biggest pet peeves right now. Everyone tells me, oh, you're so strong. Oh, you can figure it out. Oh, you got it. That is like, I'll lose it.
Yeah.
When people say that to me, like I have younger siblings, of course. So one of my youngest sibling, he's in college now. And I can't remember what the situation was, but he said something to me like, but you always figure it out, so you be good. I was like, little boy, that is exactly why I'm not going to do this for you, so you can figure it out. Because it's been, decades now where I've been able to figure everything out, and do everything on my own and be the strong one. And people, like you said, they'll praise you for it, but they'll also abuse it.
Yep.
And I am at a point now in my life where I'm like, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. I don't have the bandwidth to do it. So, yes, do I get praised? Absolutely. Do I like it? 100% do not.
Yeah. And it's like you said, it's great to be the strong one, but then who is strong for us?
Right.
And that affects can affect your mental health too. 100%. Because like I said earlier, like you're not getting any break. You're steady going. People come to you, but it's like, again, who can I run to? Like escape. Who can I run to? I used to say growing up, like, God, I wish I had older siblings. I could, that were like me, but older, that I could go to. And I just didn't, you had to figure it out, first for everything. It's like, I'm like, was I the child or what?
100%. 100%. I tell my mom all the time, I'm like, I had to figure these things out on my own. So you're going to have to figure these things out for yourself now. Like nobody was with me when I was figuring out how to do all the things that I'm doing now. And it sucks. But if you do not do that and do not, create those boundaries, you will run yourself in the ground. And I've had, I won't say a complete breakdown, but there was a time where I was like, if I don't stop this now, I could go over the edge. And I was like, it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
And
go ahead.
Sorry. The thing that I realized is that you will be surprised that they can figure it out. The same exact thing.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
And that's the part I struggled with allowing them the opportunity to figure it out. Because I'm like, I'll sit there and watch. I'm like, okay, this is moving too slow for me. All right, let me figure, you know what I mean? And so it's me still coming for the rescue. And it's like, and I know when we first talked about the podcast too, we were talking about saying no without guilt.
Yes.
Which is such a hard thing, and creating those boundaries. And it's just like, when you grow up in it, it's very hard because it's embedded in you. You don't know anything different. And then the minute you say no, then it's like, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Oh, she's being difficult. Oh, you acting brand new.
Yeah. And it's like, well, but it's so easy why is it so easy for you to say no to me, but I can't say no? I don't understand what that means. I mean, so how do you deal with it? Or are you able to deal with it? Because I'm getting better, but I'm still struggling with it. If I gotta be honest.
Same. I'm getting better, but I still struggle with it. I realized, so it was funny that my therapist, and I were talking about this, because it gets to that point where you have to really take it to a professional sometimes, so I was like, I just can't say no. And even when I do say no, I get this pit in my stomach where I'm nervous. And she's like, well, what does that mean? What do you feel? Right. And so essentially, I felt like I was going to get in trouble. Right.
Yeah.
Like the little girl inside of me felt like I was going to get in trouble. And so she said, Andrea, you're in your 30s. Nobody can beat you up. Nobody's going to whoop you. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I have to really remind myself that they can't beat me. Literally, okay, you're mad.
Some parents be saying that.
Listen, at this age,
but I'm like, you gotta catch me first.
Right. At this point, you can't beat me. So, but I have to remember that because my mind is kind of stuck in 8-year-old Andrea. That's like, oh man, I might get in trouble if I don't do this thing that they've asked me to do. But now I'm just like, oh, nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's like it's like, I feel like as the eldest, not to just make this about the eldest episode, but it's really for anyone, but you become you have to be a people pleaser.
100%.
And
I am a people pleaser because of that.
Yep. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a giver. And it's like, sometimes I don't know how to receive. You know what I mean? I feel awkward when somebody wants to give me something. I'm just like, oh no, you don't have to do that. I'm good. I'm good.
Yep.
And I'm like, I feel like the outside of myself is like the out of body experience is looking at like, girl, if you don't take that and be quiet, what is wrong with you?
Even when it comes to asking for help is difficult for me. If I ask for help, I'll halfway ask. And my husband hates this now because I'll ask and then I'll ask and then start doing it. He's like, you didn't give me a chance to do it. I'm like, well, you move too slow.
Yep.
You need to hurry up. Cause I had to be efficient. Yep. And if you're not as efficient as I am, we got a problem. So if I say, can you hang this thing up? If it's not hung up, I'm gonna hang it up and I'm gonna be banging and doing all the stuff. So all right,
you know what's going on.
I'm over here working because you ain't working.
No, look, hold up. What's your sign?
I'm a Sag.
Yeah, I knew it. Yo.
I'm sad.
Me too.
Okay. I felt the energy, yo.
Right? Like, look, if you don't know, that's how we operate as a Sage, okay?
I don't got the time.
Get with it. Because we don't have time.
At all.
No, ain't nobody got time for that.
At all. I have no time.
No, at all. And yeah, I'm the same way. I'm just like even when I, put the stage together, I was just like, I don't have time to ask somebody. Like, I'm like, somebody give me a drill and I'm gonna figure it out myself. That's just how we were made to be.
Yes.
And it is something in us. And I don't know how to shake that. You know what I mean? It is hard.
Work, yeah.
And I feel like even when I was in a relationship, like you said, like with your husband, it is hard to ask for help. And, or I feel like if I ask somebody for help, then, I got to wait for them to ask me for something and, be a trade-off and all that. And I'm like, Sierra, not everybody wants something from you, so I had to remind myself of those things, but I get it. So how do people react for you when you change directions?
Like I said, it's a problem always. It's always a problem. I become the villain in the story. I am acting brand new or, all of the above, right? Because they can't fathom that Andrea is unavailable. They can't fathom that Andrea is, declining to help because I've always been the one to, not even sometimes, they don't even have to ask sometimes. I'm like, here, I just did it.
Yep, I just did it. And, I've been like a couple people, like sometimes they will ask me for money and I'm like, now I just say, no, I'm like, well, I got laid off. So
you got a good excuse.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I said, this is the right time to practice, y'all.
You got a good excuse.
And so, and then they go quiet. But then, you would expect, like if we were best friends and, you asked me for something and I say, hey, I'm laid off. To me, my first question would have been to myself was, well, do you need anything? Yep. How are you doing? Yep. What, like, it would have been all of the 21 questions till you got annoyed with me. Yes. You know what I mean? Like, but nobody has done that yet.
And I don't understand if it's because, I mean, I'm not a younger child, right? I am the oldest child. I only have this experience, but I'm just like, what do other people do? Because I'm the same way. Like, I'm going to ask you, hey, what can sometimes I won't even ask. Like I've had friends who've been laid off and I'm just sending cash out because I know you need it. And I know you might not be, ready to ask or you might be ashamed to ask, whatever. So I'll take that from you and just go ahead and do it. But like other people don't do that. I'm like, why don't they think that way?
Yeah. Cause see me, I would have been like, oh, well, you want to go out and get something to eat? My treat. Yep. It's nothing, but I'm always, again, that one. But then I'm like, dang, well, when I need something.
Nobody's saying nothing. It's crickets.
I was just about to say, it's cricket. Okay. Help your friends out.
Yes. Help your eldest friends out.
Yes. Because they're on the struggle.
Yeah. Okay. And then they're not going to ask. And they're not going to say that whole, I'm okay. I'm good. It's like a mask that we wear. Yeah. Like, and at least for me, I'm always okay. And I think a lot of it is because I know that I'm going to be okay. Right.
Right.
Because I believe in my own potential and I know what I'm capable of doing. So like whatever the situation may be or whatever situation I find myself in, I know that I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to be good. Right. So when someone's like, oh, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Meanwhile, I don't know how I'm paying the bill or what's happening, but I know I'm going to figure it out. But I tell people all the time, like, you kind of have to read between the lines with people like myself and just do. You know, I tell people all the time, if you want to help me, just help me. Don't ask me if I need the help. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Cause we are so quick to like dismiss our feelings or dismiss how we feel because we've been taught that it is wrong to feel that way or to have a feeling in general, which is not the right thing. Okay. And so we're saying all these things so that you can in turn turn that mirror back on yourself and think about that. So, what are some signs that you've outgrown something?
Ooh, some signs that I've outgrown something. I think the biggest one is just that I've lost interest. When I used to be a little hot girl in these streets. I used to be out going.
Okay, Megan.
Yeah, my knees was good too back in the day. But I used to definitely have a a social battery, right?
Right.
That I do not have anymore. I think that I've outgrown, not that I've outgrown being social,
Right.
it's just in what way, right?
Yeah.
And so now when I look for social events, I'm looking for events that I can, learn something at, or events where I'm networking with people that I can, begin to share resources with.
It's like a transparency of knowledge.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like I'm no longer interested in going to the club and sweating, having my feet hurt and coming back with a headache tomorrow morning. That's not fun for me at all. So I've definitely outgrown that. I think I've also outgrown certain relationships with people that don't serve me the right way.
Okay.
Right. And I realized that I've outgrown those relationships and I just don't have a desire to call them as much, or, they'll call me and we'll have a conversation and I'm just not interested.
It's like that conversation start to go downhill. It's like the crickets again.
Yeah.
You don't have the same interest. Yeah. I remember, specifically when I was, younger, like 17, and a couple of my friends, they started drinking and doing all these things. And I was just like, I'm not into that at this point. And so I just stopped calling.
Yep.
And they didn't call back. So it was just I guess we just mutually understood. Hey, and it's funny because we reconnected, right? I guess maybe 15 years later, and it's still the same thing. It's just not where I want to be. Hey, I don't mind going out to dinner with you and doing, doing some things here and there, but to be in that circle.
Yep.
I'm good. I'm good over here.
Yep. I feel the same way. Like I have friends that, like I said, I spent a lot of my 20s, or all of my 20s overseas, and so I would come back home and the same friends that I left going to the club and, just drinking or whatever, they're doing the same thing. And I'm like, we're almost 40 now.
Right. We can't be in that same space. You have to have some type of elevation.
Right.
I
do that.
When I think about people that are our age and they're still living paycheck to paycheck, which I know can be a sore subject for some people, but it's just that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And maybe it's me too thinking about it as a caregiver, looking at, my grandparents, all they have is Social Security, right? It's don't you want more for yourself?
Yeah.
I'm out here killing myself every day because I want more. I want to achieve more. I'm not just happy just working a job, 9 to 5 and then going back home and being done. I want more for my family. I want more for my legacy and things like that. So it's if you're not about that life, then
we ain't got much.
It is what it is, So dislike it if you want. It's just but which leads me to my next point. Why do people stay connected to things that they believe no longer serve them?
Guilt.
Yeah.
Guilt. And I was same story. Traveled, had experiences, went off to school, opened businesses, came back home, and my friend's like, oh, you don't want to hang out with us no more?
No, they think you're so bougie and all that.
You think you this, you think you that. And I'm like, nah, girl, let's go. We going to the club. And I'm miserable the whole time. But I don't want anyone to feel like I think I'm too good or anything like that. But I think there's nothing wrong with outgrowing people. I think there's nothing wrong with when people say, oh, you think you better? No, you think I'm better.
Yep.
And I probably am, and it sucks, but it's a reflection of you, not me. Because if you were elevating, like you said, then we would continue to be on a level that we could, continue to share spaces and things like that. But you have not done that. And it may not necessarily even be a matter of levels. It just may be directions, right? You're going a different direction than I am. And that is fine, but it's just not where I want to be. And I think we need to be okay with that. But I think guilt, and that family pressure sometimes and your friends' pressure, will lead you to do things that you don't want to do. You've outgrown. But that people pleasing element that I have is kind of kept me stuck for a while. I think honestly, for me, COVID was a really good, it just cut the cord, cut the umbilical cord, because I can't come outside.
Right. That's true.
I can't see you.
Yeah. It was starting to build up. Yeah.
And so now it's just I just kept it going.
Right.
I'm in my little corner. Where you been at? Oh, just working.
Yeah.
Just, in my little
just
corner.
Surviving, doing the thing. So
I've left it that way.
Yeah. No, that's the easiest way to do it. That's one of the good few things that came out of COVID.
Exactly. Yeah. COVID was very good.
Yeah, not that many good things come out. So, have you ever stayed too long somewhere because it was familiar?
100%.
All the time.
100%. The same. There's a particular, and I'll share a little story. There's a particular season of my life that these questions are reminding me of. So And it was COVID, right? So during COVID, as I mentioned before, I traveled overseas for work. I was out of the country for like almost over a decade, right? Like 12 years. Of course, I was back and forth, but I lived overseas. And so COVID happened. And so I had to come back home because the world shut down, right? So I was like, if I'm going to be stuck, let me just come back home and be stuck instead of be stuck overseas. So I come back home. I was in Nigeria. So I came back to America. I was here in Maryland. And so I was like, you know what? I don't have a place here. I don't live here anymore, right? So I'm like, where am I staying? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stay with my girl. And I stayed with my friend. And she was not the same friend anymore, right? Or not even that she wasn't the same friend. She was exactly the same friend, but I was not the same person anymore.
Right. You grew up.
And so I grew up and I started to realize like, oh, I can't be friends or this is not conducive for me anymore. I eventually was able to move out and got my own space or whatever. And I started to do things differently. That was when, I got married and all that kind of stuff. And my friends that I had during that time hated me. Hated me. There was a huge campaign against me. Oh, she thinks she better than us. Oh, she thinks she bougie. Oh, she this, she that, she different. Da, da, da. And I was like, I left y'all a decade plus ago and y'all are in the same place. Mm-hmm. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I have goals. I have aspirations. I have things that I had planned for myself. And I don't think that this is the environment that those things are going to grow. Right. And so I made a very tough decision. When I tell you tough, I mean like, it was depressing because now this is my whole life, right? COVID is, shut the world down. All I have is this familiar circle that I left here. Right. The world that I built for myself or the life that I built for myself overseas is essentially done, right? Because it's COVID. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. We all thought we were about to die, right? Yeah. Like, so I don't know what's going on. So all I have is this circle that I left here that I'm trying to like insert myself back into. And they're like, oh, you different. And I'm just like, oh, y'all the same, And so now I'm like deathly afraid because I don't have anybody. Right. I don't have any friends anymore. Everybody's looking at me weird. But God will do that for you, when he wants to, elevate you to another level. Right.
And so like in that uncomfortable space.
I was extremely uncomfortable and I was almost depressed. It was like a huge breakup. Right. And people don't talk about friendship breakups. Yeah. Friendship breakups probably hurt worse than romantic breakups. Yeah. Because
you can easily get over that.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But this is someone who's been through all my romantic breakups with me. And now I'm breaking up with this person and it really, really hurt. And so I went through a very tough period where I was like, well, damn, do I need to like bring myself back down to this level so I can be friends with these people? But I didn't. Right. And we're still no longer friends. I still have love for these people. I still, want the best for them. We still communicate from time to time, but we're no longer that close knit friend circle that we once were. And so I stayed as long as I did because of the fear of I'm not going to have anybody. I'm losing all my friends or people are going to feel a certain way about me. Now I don't have many friends. I have a couple of friends that I speak to every single day. Thankfully, I'm like I said, I'm married now, so he's really my best friend. I tell him all the time, I was like, "Where you going? You're my best friend." Like I don't have any other friends, But I've had to slowly start to rebuild my network, right? And I've been blessed with a lot of great women who have been a part of this network that I'm growing now. But that core friend group that you always have that your childhood friends or whatever. That doesn't exist for me anymore.
Yeah, it is hard. And, I would say too, when I was listening to your story, like understanding that you should never dim your light for anyone. And, like you said, like we all have dreams and it's like, you can't blame me because I didn't bring you along. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of people do that and it's unfortunate. And it's just like, well, what do you expect me to do? Mm-hmm. And, if I'm at a different place, I'm at a different season, then I'm going to be there. What God has for me is for me and what God has for you is for you. So you do you, boo. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and that's what I think people have to realize. And it's so funny because I think I said this in another episode that when, the beginning of the year comes, you'll see all the Facebook posts of like, oh, I'm going through my friend list. If you magically see you're not my friend anymore, that mean I didn't, you didn't make it. Yeah, you didn't make the list. So, and I'm just like, and I used to say, why you gotta post that? Just do it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, why are you making a big to-do out of it? Because then it's telling me that you really not, you just doing it just to do it. Right. You're not really looking around and saying, okay, who is actually for me? Who, doing a whole assessment of who is around you because you don't want that negativity in your space, Not saying your people are negative or anything like that, but I'm just saying in general, like you just don't want that those people in your space, like every time you try to bring up a good idea or you're trying to do something and they got 21 negative questions instead of saying, well, how can I support?
Yep.
What you need from me?
Yep.
That's the kind of people that I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's going to help you build. And it is hard to find that, that core group because, you know, a lot of people I've had on the podcast, they talked about that core group that they had since they were, you know, single digit age. Right. And they're not friends anymore. And it's unfortunate. Yeah. So it's like, or if they do have them, they're still just like associates, you know, as we call them, and not like as close as they were because we were sharing the same type of, not scenarios, but we were just sharing the same type of life back then. But now, you know, when you become an adult, you know, it's like you just naturally grow because like you say, you become a mother, you go through, you know, you might become a caregiver, you may be grieving, you may be this, you may be that. And not everybody is doing that at that same time. Right. So we get friends in the season. And so you got to be open to being able to grow and allow those people to come, you know, be a part of your circle because they're there to teach you something. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So, but is there anything personally that you had to stop entertaining lately?
Personally, that I had to stop entertaining. I won't say stop entertaining, but I definitely had to change how I spend my free time.
Okay.
I read a quote recently that says, the person that you were that became successful is not the same person you need to be to maintain your success.
Oh, I like that.
And, or something to that effect.
Yeah,
right?
I got you.
It was something like that, but it basically said the same level, you know, same person that got you to this level is not the same person that's going to get you to the next level, essentially. Right. And that kind of hit me, because I'm at a space now where, you know, my business is growing rapidly. You know, my kids getting older, you know, my family dynamic is changing. I have aging parents who are, you know, caring for our parents. All of these different things are happening. And so how do I spend my time? When I was younger, is, you know, Netflixing and, you know, hanging out and all that kind of stuff. And now my free time is more so about replenishing. It's more so about, you know, and when people say self-care, it's not just like going and get your hair and your nails done and massage.
Exactly.
You know, it's self-care in terms of like pouring back into myself, investing in myself, doing those sorts of things. And I had to stop entertaining the just like, I don't want to say basic entertainment, but just like basic entertainment, right? Yeah. So like I said, Netflix or just scrolling on TikTok or all those things.
Self-care is not the same. When you get to a certain level of life, self-care is not that superficial.
It's not.
Level of things. It's more than that. You know, it's like protecting your mental peace. You know what I mean? Like your space, everything, your energy. It takes it to a whole nother level. And that's what, you know, some people just don't realize. Like, oh yeah, like, yeah, that little hour massage. Yeah, you're going to feel good when you walk out of there. Yeah. But I guarantee you, let somebody call you with a stressful question. Boo, oh, my neck and my shoulders hurt.
It comes right back.
Yep. Because you didn't deal with the situation. It's like people say, oh, they want to drink, but you get drunk, you gonna wake up with a headache the next day. It's not,
the problem's still there.
It's not going nowhere. You gotta deal with it head on, so to speak. So, but well, and you kind of said this too early on. What is a phrase that you're tired of hearing?
Yeah, yes, I did say that phrase. You're so strong, you can figure it out. But I think another phrase that I'm tired of hearing, you've changed.
I thought about you would say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did change.
Yeah.
I have changed. I hope you change.
Exactly.
You know? Change is so good. Change is scary. Change is, you know, it's up and down. It has, you know, it's an emotional roller coaster, all of these things, but like change is inevitable and change is, it's necessary. Right. And so people are like pointing this thing out to me. It's like, oh, you have on an orange dress.
Right. Thank you.
I know. Yeah. Like I know, you know, so like I'm hearing that often now, like, oh, you changed or you've changed. I know.
Right.
Yeah. That was the plan.
Like, you want me to sit in this space forever? Because then I would never make it.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so many people, since you brought up change, so many people are so afraid of change.
Yeah. I was afraid of change.
Yeah.
I was afraid of change too. And I think that like, I'm still dealing with it, you know, because I'll tell you something that there's a certain level of change that if you don't prepare your nervous system for, you'll miss the whole thing, right? You'll miss the whole opportunity. Yeah. And I've been in that space where I was physically feeling the, you know, the changes that were going on in my life, right? So like, as I'm, you know, my business is growing, or as, you know, when I have my child and when all of these things are happening, like my body was like, whoa.
Yeah.
What's happening? You know, and not just like, oh, you gain weight. No, like I was gaining weight. I started to get headaches. My body I'm so always tired. I would literally start to have like, you know, like palpitations sometimes. And I was like, what is wrong with me? What's going on? And I'm like, oh, my body is adjusting to this change. And so I'll be very like candid. There was a time I was in the shower and I was taking a hot shower, and I take showers like I'm trying to boil my skin, right?
Yeah,
like
I'm the same.
I take extremely hot showers. Like if I can't come out and do all of this on the window, it's not hot enough, right? So I'm taking this hot shower, and I was reminding myself of, you know, something that I had read where it was like, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I think it was Atomic Habits I read. And he was like, the easiest way to do it is to start by taking a cold shower, right? It's very uncomfortable, at least for me, right? I don't take cold showers. I was like, I don't know if I can take no cold shower, right? So I'm in this hot shower and I'm like, you know, I gotta get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
And I remembered that, you know, what I read, and I was like, all right, cool. I can try right now, right? And I'm in the shower and I'm like touching the knob. Am I gonna turn it? You know, I was really, really nervous. Like, oh my God, I'm about to change the temperature of this water. And I was like, I could feel my body stiffening up or whatever. And I turned it all the way cold. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Okay. Whew. And I did it. And I'm in there like breathing hard. Like I can't breathe. It's really cold. Like I'm going through all of this stuff. And then I'm like, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay.
You start to relax.
Okay. And I'm like, oh, so this is what my body must feel like on a regular, right? And I had to realize that, like, as you start to do things and as you start to change, your body's going to go through that initial shock. But the minute your body goes through that shock, it's like, oh, it's not that bad.
Right.
Okay, I'm cool. And you'll be surprised what your body will adjust to. Like, and not even surprisingly, but like, your body can adjust to all the bad things we do.
Yep.
But when it's time for the growth, everybody's like, oh no, I can't. Yep. I don't know.
And that's like a theme this season too, you know, being uncomfortable. So
you have to be uncomfortable. And so like now I'm just like, okay, this thing is going to be hard. My next thing now is like, I want to start running again. I used to be a runner. I used to run track when I was young.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
Right. I was literally, but I stopped running, you know, after school, I just stopped running. Right. And so I haven't ran in years. Right. And so I was like, you know what? I need to get back in. First, you know, it was a fitness thing, but I was like, no, because it's hard. Right. Yeah. Running is hard. Right. Running and trying to figure out how to breathe and all of those things. Like, you know what? It's really hard. But I'm going to do it. Right. So I've started just walking. Yep. I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to just start walking.
Yeah. People don't understand. I think we are people that want instant gratification. And it's like, you have to work yourself. You can't just go out and run a 5K.
No.
You
will pass out.
That's a wrap. Yes. You'll never want to do it again. Mm-hmm. Right. But if you really want to work, preparation is key.
Yes.
And I think, like I said, and I'm a person too that likes instant gratification. Like, you know, I'm not going to hold you, right? Yeah. So
that dopamine hit is real.
Yes. And like, but again, to prepare myself, like, hey, I always wanted to be the next Oprah. Well, this is my stepping stone. Yes. Okay. To getting there. You know what I mean?
And was that scary for you? Or just starting to, you know, do your podcast? Like you said, you have this goal of being the next Oprah. And I'm sure plenty of people have goals similar, right? But not many of them are doing it, right? Exactly. And so, like, what was, and I'm asking the questions.
Yeah, no, it's all good, girl.
I'm asking the questions now. But, like, was that scary for you to, like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, create this space and start these conversations and invite these guests and press record? Like, what does that feel like?
You know, so I was just telling you too. So like God gave me the vision, as you all know, to start the podcast. And I had never watched the podcast before, but I just knew I just always wanted to be a talk show host. And I was just like, all right, well, if that's what you want me to do, then I went into it 110%, went and recorded my song, went and got the equipment. I just was like, you know, I'm ready to do it. You know what I mean? And not many people could say that. I know a lot of people because, you know, I'm both an introvert and an extrovert.
Right.
So whatever the name of that is.
Right.
So, you know,
and that's a sad thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, once you get me into that zone, then I'm ready. I'll keep on talking your head off. Ever since I was younger, they like, Lord, the girl don't shut up. Yeah, I don't.
No, that's the gift that you have.
Yeah. 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 My family still talk about that video. I'm like, they just gave me the mic and they just left me with the camera and I was just talking. I still have yet to see this video, but apparently it's somewhere living there. But but no, I just, it's just something that I just want to do. Like, I want to get people's stories out. I want to help people.
Yeah.
And that's just been in my DNA. So this is just one form of the way where I help to amplify women's voices and people's stories so that other people can hear it and hopefully resonate. And I will say that every person that I've had on the podcast, I swear I have learned something from them. And, I just recorded earlier today and I was just telling my guests, I said, I came into this season wanting to do it a different way. I wanted to have my monthly topics and then all of my subtopics. You all know I said, that's what I said before I started the season, but it did not go that way. But the way that it's going in the order that it's going is, the defined order. And I always say my favorite hymnal is Order My Steps. And I love that. And I always feel that God is ordering my steps in the way that they need to go and putting this in. So for the people that binge watch my podcast, I hope that you are feeling me when I'm saying these things. Like, everything is in God's time and in the order. And I just think the people that have been on here just so like amazing. Okay. Yeah. But I really do learn something. And sometimes it hits me the questions that are asked. It's like I don't really pre-plan per se. Right. Like this season, I have done a little bit more pre-planning of questions, but in the past, I never really did. It just would come out, and after the episode, I would just digest it and just say, that's something to think about. I didn't think about that into it, but it just came out, right? So,
and that's how you know God is involved.
Yeah,
when you're able to. I say fly by the seat of your pants.
Yep.
I'm not flying by the seat of my pants. God is holding me.
Yep.
Right. God is the one
taking care of it.
Yeah. He's guiding me and he's making sure that whatever I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing. So like, and people think like, oh, you just live life. I'm just like, cause I know who I
know who I report to.
Yeah. So, I'm following him. I'm not following you. I'm following him. So,
whatever that looks like for you, I know what it looked like for me.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, well, on that note, what would you tell someone that is afraid to outgrow their current life?
Take a cold shower. Take a cold shower. Start there, right?
Yeah.
Take that cold shower, get uncomfortable, do the hard thing. And then, like you said, like, let God order your steps. Cause I think a lot of times God calls us. God tells you, if you are able to quiet your own mind long enough, God is willing to talk.
Right.
We just like to talk too much, right? So if you're able to quiet your mind enough and let God talk to you. And I think that, when we say, oh, let God talk, right?
Yeah.
When I was younger, I used to think that God was going to come and speak to me through
Same.
Right. I was like, there's a God calling you and this is what you need to do. And I'm like, I don't ever hear from God.
Where you at?
But God doesn't talk to you like that, right? So like God, to be honest, like I tell people all the time, God is on social media. God is on the radio. God is, that feeling. God is that friend that suggests something to you. God is that random person that says something to you in the street. God talks to you through so many ways, but like, are you able to identify that, oh, that might have been God saying something to me. That's where like I said, when you quiet your mind, right? And so when you're able to let God order your steps and you might have that plan, but you're not listening to whatever God's plan is for you.
Right.
You're going to stay in that same situation, that same position, that same circle.
Yep.
So if you want to outgrow that circle, take the cold shower and then be quiet.
Yeah.
Let God tell you what to do. Because I can tell you from my experience, as I mentioned in the beginning of this episode, I've done everything. I done been an event planner. I done politics. I done tech. I've done everything. Right. Wow. And I think all those things were great. I think that, I had to go through all of those experiences because they prepared me for what I'm doing today. But at the end of the day, a lot of those things I was doing them because I wanted to.
Yeah.
Not because God wanted me to do them.
True.
Have I had successes? Yes. But have I had the success I've had with this? No. And I know that this is God, right? Yeah. My current situation now, I cannot say that it's because I'm smart or because I make the best jollof rice. Like, my mom makes bomb jollof rice, right?
I remember when you said that, I was like, okay.
Like, there's so many people that can cook, right? So like, but why me? Because this is what God has asked me to do. And I have been obedient. Yeah. And I'm following the ordered steps. Like the way things have happened for me, I know that this is not me. Yeah. This is God, right? And so that has caused me to outgrow that circle. So I will tell people that if you want to outgrow that circle or outgrow this current situation you're in, get comfortable being uncomfortable and listen for God's direction. And if you don't hear anything, that means God is not ready yet.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with God not being ready yet. Cause I was definitely like, there was a period right before I opened up Jello4 where I had sold all my other restaurants. I was back trying to, apply for jobs in tech, right? So I'm applying for like product manager jobs, scrum master jobs, all stuff, hundreds of interviews, didn't get a job. And I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'm not hearing nothing. I don't know what's going on. And funny enough, God didn't give me the message. He actually gave it to my husband. And so, as I said, sometimes God will talk to you through other people.
Right.
God may talk to you through, like I said, social media or the radio or whatever the case may be. And so my husband was like, why don't you do this thing? And I was just like, nah, I'm going to go get me a little remote job. It's Clovis. I'm like, give me a little remote job, work from the computer or whatever. He was like, I don't think so. And he was persistent. He was like, yo, this thing is on my heart. Like, I think we need to try it. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's try it.
Right.
And we're 10 months in? Yeah. We've done 1.5.
That's awesome.
In revenue in 10 months. And I'm just like,
and that is like unheard of in restaurants. I just want people to understand, like, that is like amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I thank God every day for it because I'm in a food hall.
Yeah.
Right. And there's 14 other restaurants in the space that I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
None of them is open. Like they're not jumping. They're not, the customers are not there. And I'm like, oh, this is what people say, like, oh, I can see God's hand. That's what that means. That's what it means. And I know that I'm in that space because I listen for God's instructions and I follow them.
Yeah.
I've outgrown the circles that I was in. I've outgrown the person that I was, and that was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like very, very uncomfortable. So my advice to anybody is to be uncomfortable and listen for God's instructions.
Yeah. And you hit on something too, like with the other restaurants, in that food hall. People are blocking their blessings every day because, the saying of like, oh, you come up with a plan, God's going to laugh, because we always think we know what's right. And I'm guilty.
Yep. I think everyone is.
Yeah. And, but then like you said, sometimes when you realize that things aren't working out, obviously,
that's not what God wants you to do.
That's not what he wants us to do. And so, same thing. I'm in that season now where because I got laid off, I'm still applying to jobs because I keep, in my mind, I'm like, I got to have some type of stable income. I'm a caregiver. I have to do that. But one of my friends tells me all the time for the last few years, you were made to be your own boss.
Yep.
And it's just like, I just blow her off. And I tell the story all the time. And it's
can't
like,
do that. Yeah. That might be God talking to you.
And that's what, as you're saying this, I'm thinking this to myself and I'm just like, I know this has got to be, what's going on because there's no reason that I should have got laid off. When I look back at it, what's the reason, And so, I'm just going to work things out. And again, I'm just going to stay obedient and say, okay, God's going to provide.
Yes. And he always.
Yeah. Provides. So it's like, he doesn't have to reveal to me. I mean, he doesn't have to reveal to me how and when and whatever. Mm-hmm. I just need to put my trust in him because like I said, I'm going to be clothed, I'm going to be fed and I'm going to have a roof over my head.
Always.
I'm going to have all the necessities and that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So.
In those uncomfortable moments where, like, well, damn, how am I going to make sure I can pay this or pay that or whatever? But like, you have to have that level of faith.
Yeah.
That I think is, because I was the same way when I was, we were starting Jello4 in the very beginning. I'm like, who about to go do a restaurant in this economy? Like, what? No, we got kids, we got mortgages. Like, we cannot do this right now. We need stability, right? Because at the time we were on one income, on my husband's income. And I'm like, I need to go get another job so we can be able to pay these bills. He's like, no, you go get in the kitchen, go cook. I got it. And I'm just like, okay. But we've never lacked.
Yeah.
Our children are well taken care of. Everybody eating. God has provided. So you got to have faith as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would encourage you to just go. I mean, you're already doing it.
Yeah. I'm
just got to remove the lack of the doubt, right? Because by you still applying for those jobs, you're saying that you don't trust God.
I know. And I think it's like that safety net for me of like applying, but not, knowing that something may not come out of it. And I will say, other times when I've got laid off or I've, resigned or whatever the case is, this time does seem different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, all right, I hear you. I hear you. I'm listening. I'm just, okay, I'll be having those conversations like, I got you. I'm like, But sometimes I'll say to God, like while I'm driving, I'm like, can you just write it down now so I can just see it, like so I can make sure I hear it clearly or whatever. But
I be asking for signs too. I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Because I'm just
I need to know. So, but no. So, I always close out my episode with saying the bottom line is, which is like a summary of the episode. And so this is the first time I'm going to do it a little bit different.
Okay.
So what does the bottom line is mean to you for this episode?
I would say the bottom line is change it's necessary. And I would say that the bottom line is be comfortable with whatever that change looks like and be willing to do the work, whether that means cutting people off, whether that means saying no without the guilt, whether that means doing the thing, starting the business or taking the job. It might be a job for some people, you know? So I would say the bottom line is be okay with whatever that change is and do the work.
I love it. See, I couldn't have said it better myself. See, I had to have my fellow stage sister tell y'all what the bottom line is.
Bottom line is, yes.
So, Andrea, again, I appreciate you being on this episode. And so if people want to follow the journey, because again, you're starting these franchises. So some people might be like, oh, they want to be a franchisee.
Absolutely.
Like, how can they follow you? How can they find out more? Let them know.
So, in terms of business, the social media for the Jollof Bowl is at the Jollof Bowl on all platforms. So TheJollofBowl. So at the Jollof Bowl on all platforms, and thejollofbowl.us and .com is our website. And then if you want to follow me, it's at the Andrea Kamara. So my first name Andrea and last name Kamara. So yeah, I am trying to even do more in terms of like letting people see that journey. Cause I think a lot of times I've been kind of very like quiet because I'm like, oh, my journey is messy. But if y'all want to see the messy journey,
but sometimes but you know what? People need to do that because social media can make it seem like it's just all like roses and,
definitely not roses.
It's like, no, like you got to go through it and you're going to have bumps along the way. And if you don't have bumps, then I don't.
Are you working hard enough?
Yeah. It's not going to get you where you're supposed to be. Let's just say that. Right. Yeah. So, but yes. And, her information is below. And if you haven't done so, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, share and let me know what you're thinking and how you enjoyed the episode. We can't wait to hear. I'll be sharing all those comments with Andrea